All right, so it's 2023, it's January 1st, and I am about to start my new program. So the last one was through the Sculpted Vegan, and it was 12 weeks, and I had some pretty good success on that. So I've decided to go ahead and stick with the Sculpted Vegan, and I am doing her 18-month program this time, and so we will see how that goes. So that starts tomorrow. So today's Sunday. I'm gonna start it Monday, so on the 2nd. But for today, I just wanted to kind of get my baseline to see where I'm starting this time around, and then just kind of track how I progress over the next 18 months, which is gonna be a long time. And she actually has, like, I talked a little bit about this in the last video, so this one's different in that it's kind of like a not self-paced, like you've got, weeks, but it's not like a whole cohort of people are starting at once and doing it together. This one's just kind of like you buy the program and start it and finish it whenever you want. She does have an 8-week program that starts, I think, this next week or the week after. And so I was tempted to do that. But I think I gained what I needed from the 12-week program to hopefully be able to do this kind of like self-guided one a little bit. I'm hoping I can do it by myself without the extra like encouragement of having a whole group doing it with me. But I think it's gonna be good. I feel like if I can get through this 18-month program, that hopefully I will set myself up to develop like the skills to be able to maintain my fitness for the rest of my life. And that's kind of the goal of the program and how she set it up. It's you tailor it. She basically like gives you the skills to figure out how to tailor this to yourself and make adjustments where you need to. Whereas the other program, it was just like, eat this many calories, do these exercises, and it wasn't like tailored towards individuals. And so this one, instead of like tailoring it towards individuals, she kind of starts out in phase 1 with kind of giving you these foundational courses to kind of explain how someone would put together a program that's individualized, if that makes sense. I'll show you, I'll get on my phone here in a second and I'll show you a little bit of the website. I won't show too much because it's like proprietary information, but I'll just kind of give you an idea of like how the program's set up. But I think this is gonna be doable, and I'm hoping that by the end of it I will be ready to start prepping to compete. So like whenever you do a bodybuilding competition, from what I've learned over the past like year or so that I've been interested in this, is I think a lot of people will see bodybuilders and just think like, okay, I want to do that. Let me get started. Let me train for like 6 months, 9 months, a year, and I'll be ready. But depending on where you're at in your fitness level, it's not that easy. Because I went into it, I think I had like 8 months until the show that I had initially wanted to do. And whenever I reached out to a trainer, she was kind of like, why don't we just get a gauge on your workouts and everything and just see where you're at. And then, after working with her a little bit, I realized I was too busy with work and school to put in what I needed to. I think if you really just have a lot of time and you're really committed, you could do it within like 6 to 9 months. And preferably if you're already like familiar with the gym, familiar with like tracking your calories and macros and everything, I think it could be doable. But I just realized within like a month or two that like, okay, this is not gonna be practical for me. So I would say that if you want to get into bodybuilding, like have practical expectations. So that's why I'm kind of scaling back and I'm like, okay, 18 months to get ready to the point to where then I could spend a few months to actually really, really prep. So that's the goal, is to get through this 18 months and then start looking at shows in the meantime, and then try to plan out, you know, at the end of the 18 months, then maybe I would do, it just depends on how it goes. Like if this 18 months is going really well and I get towards the shred at the end of it and I feel like I could do a show pretty quickly after that, then maybe, but more likely I think I'm going to get through this and then find a coach to actually work with, you know, helping me to build the exact physique that like the judges would be looking for, and then work with someone for a few months and then do a show after that. So it'll be a while, it'll be a long journey, I guess, to get there, but I'm not in a rush. And my main goal in all of this, again, if you look back at my video like 9 months ago, it's just to develop healthy habits and kind of get my body to a place to where I can have a lifestyle that I can be healthy for the rest of my life. And I know that bodybuilding, like specifically show prep, is not the healthiest, but I feel like just doing this process, I'm learning a lot about my body and how food affects my body. And you know, I think it is beneficial to do something like this, because you do get a lot more connected to how your body works, and things like that. So what am I gonna do next? I'm definitely gonna take my measurements here in a second. I think I'll get on my phone. Since I talked about the program, I will get on my phone and kind of just scroll through and just show you a little bit about this first phase of the program. And then I will kind of show you where I'm at in terms of my weight and everything. I've been tracking my calories, but I haven't been planning anything. I know I keep saying like, oh, I want to get back on a plan, and just these last couple of weeks, I'm just the type of person, as much as I would like to be self-motivated, if I don't have a plan and a specific goal that I'm working towards, it's really hard for me to stick to anything. So, but I'm hoping that by the end of this, that won't be the case anymore. So yeah, I will show you my weight, my calories, all that stuff on my phone, and then I will do my measurements. Okay, so on the website, they have this members program where you, this members page where you can log in and get access to the program. So this is kind of the opening page of the program. Basically, she has videos where she talks a little bit about the different lessons, and then there's like some PDFs and different things that she provides. So the program itself has 6 phases. So the phase that I'm in, which will be 10 weeks, is just a foundational phase. And so, like I said, it basically just gives you information for you to be able to figure out how to do things on your own. So like it starts out with like setting goals, setting realistic goals, getting your baseline measurements. And then it kind of goes over how to start the program. Then it goes over, if you don't really understand like macros and calories, there's a lot of information about that. She doesn't provide meal plans in this program specifically. She has some other just kind of generic meal plans you can buy, and she gives like a very vague meal plan with different calories. But basically, whenever you take your measurements, you try to figure out, I'll show you that too here in a second. You try to figure out like what is your personal total daily energy expenditure. So like your basal metabolic rate and your energy expenditure, to try to figure out for you personally how many calories do you need, and then kind of play around with your macros to figure out what you want to go from there. And so it talks all about that. She talks about meal planning. This one was actually really helpful, the MyFitnessPal one, because I had already been using MyFitnessPal, but there was a couple things she went over in there. Like, there's so much that you can do with MyFitnessPal if you are wanting to lose weight or start working out and bodybuilding. I'd highly recommend like getting MyFitnessPal and even paying the extra for the premium membership, because there's so many features you can use on there that make it a lot easier. She goes over supplements. This training to failure one was really interesting because I definitely was not training as hard as I should have been or correctly in the other program. And they had talked about training to failure. I didn't watch all the lives and everything, so I bet they probably went over all this stuff in all the live videos that they had on the Facebook group. But this was, I think, is going to be really useful for me seeing more progress this time around. Yeah, and she kind of, it goes over kind of like how to use the gym. What if your gym doesn't have certain equipment for certain exercises that are in the program, how to modify it and substitute. Yeah, just motivation, just kind of some tips on things like how much rest you need, how to stay motivated in the gym, or how to stay motivated to like finish out the program. Yeah, I bought a little bit of extra equipment based on some tips she had in there. So I got some gloves, or maybe I'll show you some of the equipment that I got because I got it in yesterday. And I didn't do the training from home because I am planning to do the gym workouts. And then they have downloads for workouts, so you can choose if you want a 4-day split. I'm planning to do the 5-day split, or if you want to do it home, they have a list of home workouts. So, but my plan is to do this 5-day split. So yeah, let me go back to the phases. I went through all the videos and everything for this phase 1 because I'm going to be in this for 10 weeks. I'm not sure exactly what's in phase 2, but there's a phase 2 for stronger, phase 3 mindset. I think that may be because around phase 3 is when she said is when a lot of people really start to drop off. They start getting discouraged and wanting to quit. And yeah, and then at the end there's a shred. So I'm hoping to make it through all these phases, but right now I've got 10 weeks on phase 1, so I will hop on to my other apps. Well, actually, let me do that right now. Let me just get onto my Fitbit. I track my weight with Fitbit because I have a Fitbit scale, and it automatically, whenever I weigh myself on the scale, it automatically will put the weight in the app, so I don't have to enter it all the time. And yeah, so this past week I was eating, maybe I should have shown that first, but I was eating like over 2,000 calories almost every day. And my weight kind of maintained at that, which I was kind of surprised. I stayed at 137 pretty much the whole week, even though I was eating higher calories than I had estimated for my maintenance. But yeah, since the end of the program, I had gotten down to 133 on the day that I had taken my photos at the end of the 12-week program, and it was slowly going up. So I was like 136, 135, 136. In the last 2 weeks, I've held pretty steady at 137. So my calories are going to go down a little bit starting this next week, so we'll see how that affects my weight. I don't really have a weight goal for this. My main focus is going to be on my how my body composition changes. So turning the fat into muscle is going to be my goal. And let me see here. So this was my calories last week. So yeah, most of the days I was, over 200 calories. Yesterday, I didn't really eat that much. And it was crazy because I had been weighing 137 every day. And then I ate 930 calories yesterday just because I was really busy and everything. And I just didn't eat. And my weight was 135 today. So that's just crazy that one day of not eating as much could drop my weight that much. But yeah, so there's that. I've already went ahead and planned my meals. Oh, my macros have been terrible. It's been like around 10 or 12% for the last few weeks of protein without me actively like trying to get protein in. So like doing protein powders and things like that. Pretty high carbs, 50% carbs, 40% fat. But yeah, for next week, I set my goal macros at, I wanted to keep high protein, so I did 40% protein, 25% fat, and 35% carbs, because when I was trying to work off of her kind of example meal plan, I wanted it to be 30% carbs, 30% fat, 40% protein, but the carbs were always too high, and I'm like, you know what, whatever, I'll just stick to this goal, and we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, I went ahead and put in, what I plan to eat over the next week. And so yeah, this is how it came out to 1655. I am a little bit over on the carbs still, so I've got 38% carbs, 22% fat, and 40% protein. But I feel like as long as I hit my protein, I should be pretty good. If I hit my protein and I stay in my calorie limit, I'm hoping I'll be pretty good. But I just want to make it easy. So all of this stuff is things that are pretty quick and easy to put together and prep. So I just trying to make it as easy as possible to do it and stick to it. So let's see. I guess now I will go ahead and, let me show you my measurement sheet that I'm going to be using throughout this process. It may evolve, but for right now, I'll show you what I got it set up. So here is the measurement sheet that I put together. So if you've watched my other videos, every week I've been measuring my chest, my waist, my hips, and my thighs. So I kept that on here. And then I've been looking at just weekly averages instead of looking at daily weights and calories. I've been paying more attention to the weekly averages. So that's what I had for this past week for my weight and my calories. And then I also look at my macros, the percentages, and then how many grams per week and how many grams per day. I went ahead and put this information down because this was stuff that I calculated in a few different ways. I talked about in another video how I had gotten my in-body scan, and so I'm just kind of comparing the percentages that I got from different sources. So the in-body had me at 36.3% body fat. When I got the DEXA scan, 36.3, the DEXA was 33.6. And then I found an online calculator that actually I will link these online calculators, so if you want to just kind of get a basic idea, because I mean it's lower, but I mean it's not that far off. So I think if you wanted to get just a basic idea of what your body fat percentage might be, you might try that body fat calculator. So it was a little bit lower than the others, but I mean kind of in the same range. The BMR, when I got the in-body scan, it gave me an idea, but they didn't actually measure anything to get that. It was just, I think, kind of based on my weight and height and body composition. But whenever I went and got my DEXA scan, I did this other thing where I breathed into this thing for 10 minutes and it calculated my BMR based on that. So I'm going to go with the DEXA values because I think the DEXA and this value when I do my comparisons, because I think they're just more accurate. So this was basically like the lowest calories I need to kind of just stay alive, like to just run my normal body functions. So this was 1354 to just maintain. And then this TDEE is, what is it? Total daily energy expenditure. So basically it takes this and then it adds up. Usually I think they said about 400 calories they'll add on to that just for like daily activities, just normal activities, walking around, just whatever you would do normally, not actively exercising. And then, so for that, was that with the added exercise? I don't think so. I think the 1759 was with, I think if I included like 20 minutes of light walking. And then I had an online calculator that got something very close. So like I said, I'll link the online calculator so you can kind of test that yourself. So yeah, so this is kind of like my base level of what I need. And in the online calculator, I added in moderate. You can choose like how much activities you plan to be doing. So you could do like no activity, light, moderate,
you know, more than that. So I picked the moderate activity, which says, you know, working out like 3 to 5 times a week. So with that added activity, it did bring it up to like 1947. So that kind of makes my weight over these past couple of weeks kind of makes sense, because I have been walking a lot of days for an hour. So maybe that's why my weight has kind of stabilized at the 137, because, you know, based on this, it does kind of make sense that I would be able to maintain that weight with that. So, but I want to shred a little bit. I want to get my body fat off, and that was one thing that she talked about in the information, in that foundation information, was like different people joining the program have different goals. Some people are already pretty lean and they want to build muscle. Some people, she suggested, if you have higher than a 20%, 25% body fat, that you might want to start out with lower calories to kind of shred the body fat as you're working out. So that's what I'm doing. So I have my calorie goal set at 1700, and so hopefully I will start to shred some of that body fat, and then once it gets into like the stronger section phase of the thing, then I may start adding in more calories to try to build more muscle. But yeah, for now, this is based on this kind of information that I've collected on myself. This is how I'm kind of setting it up for myself. And again, like I said, the macros, I'm starting with that, and I'm gonna see how it goes. I definitely want to keep my protein high, or try to, and then just kind of go from there. So I will get to my measurements now. Oh, sorry, one more thing. I went ahead and converted this to a PDF, and I'm gonna try to figure out and see if I can link it to the description. So if I can figure out how to do that, I'll go ahead. If anyone else wants to kind of track their weekly measurements, similar to how I'm doing it, I will try to put a link to this sheet in the description. So we'll see. Hopefully I can get that in there. Okay, so I just put the tiny bikini on, and it has been just about a month since I've really been in the gym and hit the gym pretty hard. So like the weight hasn't gone up that much, but I do feel like my composition may have changed, if it can change that fast, but I don't feel as firm as I did a month ago. So we'll see how the measurements come out. But okay, so day 1 of the 18 months. I still feel like I've maintained quite a bit of shape from before, but just there's surely not as much muscle there anymore. Yeah, I'm already having like some of that, more of that come back. Is it my back? So there we go. There's where we're starting. I will change and take my measurements. Let's do this. Okay, we'll start with the band for my chest. Last time I think it was about like 29 something. I can look. And it is a little bit over 30, so I'll say maybe 30 and a quarter, yeah. And yeah, so it's an inch more. So a month ago it was 29 and a quarter. And then the bust. Is about 35 and a half.
So it's about a ½ inch bigger. Last time I have it down as 35. The waist, I know it's bigger because I had to, when I did that online calculator, one of the measurements, the body fat calculator, they asked for your waist measurement. And it was higher. Yeah, I have it at about 30, 31 1/4. A little bit below maybe, but I'll just put 31 1/4. Yeah, and last time it was 29 3/4, so over an inch bigger. And my hips. I think this might be about the same. A little over 38. I'll go ahead and put 38 1/4. Okay, last time my hips are actually looking smaller. Is that right? Because I had 38 3/4 for last time. No, John, I might do 38 1/2 because it's kind of in between. And my thigh, I don't know, my thighs don't really change that much, but I'll go ahead and measure it just in case. I'm hoping by the end of this, I kind of want my thighs to be, I don't know, maybe not necessarily bigger, but more muscular. That's really what I like, those girls that have like the really muscular thighs. So that's kind of the look that I'm going for. So it looks like it's right at 21. Maybe a little bit less. I'll do 20. Yeah, I'll do 21. And that's what it was last time. So, yeah, there we go. So that's my starting out measurements and how I look and the plan. So I'll try to put some links, as many links as I can find to put up there with the stuff that I'm using and everything, but yeah, we'll see how this first week goes, being back to work and back to life and everything. I'm kind of excited to get back in a routine because I don't really do super well with not having a routine, so yeah, I'm excited. We'll see how it goes.